I'm back, and in this video I'm going to try and start for the first time this comprehensively rebuilt 1311cc A-series engine. Okay, so I've not tested this engine, it's all just come back together, and it's the first engine I've ever built, so the peril in this video is not manufactured, it is real peril. And I'm just going to start with the basic stuff. So the oil pump and all the bearings are currently packed with this stuff, assembly lube. It's kind of really thick gel that's there to protect everything while you're still building it, and then when you do the first start it's just there to give it a bit of extra, I don't know, softening or something like that. But apparently what we should do first is turn the engine over on the starter motor with the spark plugs out, and what that's going to do hopefully is prime the oil lubrication system, so get some of this gunk out of the oil pump so the oil pump's ready to inject fresh oil into everything, and also to prime the fuel system. So that's low peril, we'll try that, and as long as there's no squeaks, clunks or bangs or scraping, then we know we're probably good to try and fire it up for real. That might be useful. Oh, there's a strimmer in here and a mystery bag. Let's take the strimmer out. They make good garden sheds, Allegros do. Right, check for neutral. Let's see if we can make that oil pressure warning light on the left go out. Nope. Right, we got fuel. No. Let's try that again. Any fuel yet? Nope. Okay, we've got fuel and the oil pressure warning light just went off. No squeaks, no bangs, sounds really smooth. So I think we'll push it outside now and just try and start it. Made a bit more interesting by the fact that it's about -3 and snowing outside. Okay, weird problem number one. The electrode or connector of this spark plug's missing. See? It's gone. I wonder if it's on one of these. Which one? Number 2? Which one's number 2? Uh-oh. It's not in there. Okay. Need to have a think about that first. Oh, I see it. Look. Oh, this is weird. Okay. You know, if that's it, if this is the only thing weird that happens. Oh, it's not magnetic. Gonna have to use my hand. Please let that be the only snafu. Does that just screw on? Huh, never knew that. Well, you learn something new every day. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's 4 gone? There you are. 4. Now when it comes to ignition timing, you have to have the engine running to do the timing. But in order to do the timing, you have to get the engine running, which means you have to do the timing before you get the engine running, so it's kind of a paradox. So what I did earlier is I just kind of guessed it by putting the engine at top dead center with this piston ready to fire, so all the valves are closed, and then I just set that so it has a little bit of advance, roughly 10 degrees, on firing number 1 cylinder, which you can tell just by opening the distributor cap. It's an A series, it doesn't care, it'll run as long as you've got a bit of advance. They'll even run if the ignition's a bit after, but apparently the manifold can melt if you do that, so it's not advised. And as for the fuel mixture, I can't remember if I even looked at that at all, but I've had the carburetor out and it's got a new needle, so the fuel mixture, again, it was never right, and it's certainly not right now. I think normally people on the internet, it's like move it 6 flats out at the mixture underneath the carb and it should run, but we'll give it plenty of choke, and again, it's an A series, it will run. I should qualify that, it will run if it's been put together properly. So the first start, it's a bit counterintuitive. If you've never, like me, you've never done this before, you'd think you'd just kind of give it an easy start and just, once it's running, leave it to idle for a bit. But apparently that's the worst thing you can do. Well, the worst thing you can do is rag the nuts off it. But it's also bad to leave it idling because the oil isn't getting that circulation, and with the assembly lube you can get blockages, apparently. So what you need to do is, as soon as it starts running, is the Haynes Book of Lies says give it a kind of high idle. I've seen people say 2000 RPM, 1.5, 2.5. I don't have a rev counter, so I'm just going to go for like a kind of idle and leave it to get warm and keep checking it. But once it's warm, then switch it off, let it cool down, retighten the studs, check the valve clearances, all that kind of stuff. We'll cross those legs when we get to them. So I've been putting this off for ages. Let's have a go. Oh boy. Let's hope nothing dramatic happens. Still covered in leaves from the last time I was driving it, and again I was attacked by ancient Swedish petrified forest. Right, okay, basics first. Neutral, handbrake on. I guess we're going to give it all the choke. We don't need to lock it because the cable's so old it doesn't spring back anymore. Okay, so we're listening and making sure that the oil pressure warning light on the left goes off as soon as this thing fires into life. And then give it a bit of gas once it kicks in. So here we go. My God. It doesn't want to rev. Okay, it does not want to rev at all, but it ran. And the oil pressure warning light went off. Ooh. Let me just check the throttle. First time. That is incredible. The throttle's opening. Carburetor's got loads of oil in it. Is it moving up and down? Yeah, I can feel that. Hands are shaking. It's because of the cold. Okay. But it fired. It really fired up. But why didn't it rev? Maybe I'll try it with the choke in. So choke is all the way in. and go. Bit of throttle maybe. Let's put a bit of choke out. Just a snifter. Yeah, but it does not want to rev. What's going on? What's wrong? Got fuel. Well, we know that. Timing? It was firing on all four. Let's maybe advance the timing a bit. Ah, timing is loose. Right, okay, let's I haven't tightened that up, so maybe I've lost the timing, whatever timing I'd set it to. Advances that way. Let's give it a bit more advance. And a bit more choke, because that seemed to help. Okay. Ah! That's it. Oh my god. It was the timing then. Right, put a bit in. And that's the choke going in. Is that a high idle? Is that 2000 RPM? Wow. Sounds amazing. Okay, let's try and warm it up now. The choke is actually... Oh, no. Okay, I got greedy with the choke. Let's try that again. Nope. Okay, so tiny bit more choke. Engine management system, you see. That sounds amazing. What I could do with is being able to look at the engine bay as well and see what's going on. Can't really see. The GoPro can see, but I can't see the GoPro. All sorts of weird smells. Cannot believe this. Okay, I'm just going to try and leave it here and get it warmed up, and I'll keep peeking through the gap to check for any steam or smoke or whatever. Okay, sit. Like I say, it's a garden shed. Sit rep. The temperature is just moving out of the blue, so it's really starting to get warmed up. I've got the choke all the way in. No. Okay. Restart. Easy, Tiger. Easy. Back up to that kind of high rev again. The choke isn't quite in yet, but doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't want to say it because there's no wood to tap on in here, but almost up to temperature now, despite the fact that it's very cold, and don't know if you can see that's trying to snow. There's little tiny snowflakes coming onto the windscreen along with all the summer bug splats. Guess I could try and wash them off, couldn't Made a right mess of that, haven't I? Yeah, needs a wash. It's right in the middle now. I think we're okay to just whoops. I think I need to do some work on that mixture. Yeah. It's over halfway now, so I'd say it's definitely up to temperature. Just going to run it for a minute or more, and then we'll shut it down and have a look at everything. Actually, I'm slightly concerned that when I rev it down, the oil pressure warning light wants to come on. We'll run it for a bit longer. There's maybe still some goop in the system. I'm going to shut it down because that is not good. Fan's kicked in though. Let's have a look. Maybe check the oil level. Smells of engine paint. Nothing hissing, nothing leaking. Let's check that oil level. Where are you at? Can't quite see because it's so clear. It's just over halfway, but I can see there's all sorts of, I think it's that assembly lube in it. So I guess just gonna have to start this up and, like it says, just run it at a higher RPM for a bit longer. I think I was only running it for 5 minutes, and folks on the internet say 20 minutes, so let's try that. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of scary, to be honest. I don't know what to make of this at all. Okay, it runs really nicely by the sounds of it, even without the timing and mixture being set properly. But there are, yeah, the oil pressure warning light is coming on even at quite high RPM. And this is where you need someone here who knows what they're doing. I know I could go on the internet now and get hundreds of words of advice that are all completely contradictory, because you don't really know unless you're here. So I'm on my own with this, like always. Okay, but the basics. So I've checked. There's no mayonnaise in there, and it all looks very oily and nice. There's no oil leaks anywhere. It sounds okay. There is plenty of oil in it, not too much, not too little. I see there's coolant coming out of that head stud already, so I'm going to have to tighten that up. The cylinder head and the deck have been skimmed, so this is probably just because it needs to be retorqued, I would hope. Oh fuck, really? It might be the oil pressure switch that's just not working very well. Unlikely. Really unlikely. Possibly it's the oil pressure release valve. So there's a pressure release valve. Apparently that can cause the oil pressure warning light to come on because it's just bypassing the oil pump, I think, if it gets stuck. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Well, anyway, we got to retorque the head, that's for sure. and we can do that when it's cooled down. It's always like this. It's not always like this. This is just learning how things work. One step at a time. It's been run up to temperature. That's stage 1. There's a problem with the oil light. Not necessarily the oil pressure. We don't know that. I'm going to let it cool down and retorque the head, and then do a bit of research about that oil pressure. Okay, the engine's cooled down, and I've cooled down as well. We've got a nice load of coolant leaking out from there, and I'm just not convinced that any amount of retorquing the head is going to stop that. But doesn't matter, head gasket's relatively minor compared to oil starvation. And I think our prime suspect is down here. So that's the oil pressure release valve that stops the oil pressure getting too high. But when it gets stuck, it means that the oil pump can't build up enough pressure. And then the light comes on. So I'm going to take that out and have a look at it. Okay, so there's the spring, but the valve itself is still in there. So let's see if we can fish out with a magnet. Put the magnet in there. If it doesn't come out, then that does suggest it really is stuck. Right, I was able to tease it out with the screwdriver. Now I should, yeah, there we go. Got it. Let's have a look at it then. Where are you? There we go. Yeah, it does not look in great condition, that. Yeah, so this is destroyed. This should never have gone back in. I must have overlooked that. And this is experience. Sorry about the flickering. Yeah, so if I ever have to rebuild an A-series again, I will remember this. So I need to get another one of those on order. So it'll take like 2 days to be delivered, and then spend a week in customs. I have to fill out like a bunch of forms to order a tiny piece of metal like that. But anyway, that's going to take some time. Okay, I had to edit the video just to figure out what the hell's been going on. And I think that oil pressure relief valve is the reason why the light was coming on. You've seen the state of it, it's knackered. So I'm going to get a new one on order. That's going to take some time. And so no more work on the engine until that's back. And I've checked a couple of other things. I could get a proper oil pressure meter as well, so I can measure what the actual pressure is. As for the coolant coming out of the bolt, seen that before. I know what it means. It's not going to be easy to solve that, but it's all a work in progress. I'm just happy that the engine ran. It sounds great. That it started first time. I did not fake that. That genuinely happened. A-series engines, amazing, but they do need lubrication. So I'm going to get on, order a new valve. It's going to take ages to get delivered. I've got other things going on in my life right now. But I think maybe in a month or so we can have another video and maybe go for a little run about town in the Allegro. There also won't be so much salt on the roads as well. And salt scares me more than oil starvation, honestly. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and see you in the next video, which will hopefully not be in 3 months' time, but maybe 4 weeks. See you then. Bye.